What's up, fellow creative entrepreneurs and hustlers? Welcome back to the Moneybeard channel. I'm Rob Anderson, founder of Moneybeard, and if you're looking to make a little extra money for whatever reason, side hustles are your friend. And we all know about Uber and Lyft, but today I want to talk about 5 side hustles that can make you some serious extra cash and also help you out with your career if you're in the entertainment industry or a creative like I am. Really, anybody can do most of these though, so let's get started right now. Play my music. First side hustle we're going to talk about is actually the easiest one on the list, and that is being a background extra. Background extras are needed in TV shows, movies, music videos, and more. When you're a background extra on something like this, a lot of the day is basically spent sitting around, hanging out, eating free food, and waiting to get called to walk across a room in the background where something's being filmed. It's super easy to do. You don't have to look like a Hollywood actor in order to do this. They need people of all different shapes and sizes and body types and different looks. I've had the opportunity to be a background extra in several music videos and commercials myself. Here's me in a Coolio video. Don't blink or you just might miss it. Wait for it. Wait for it. That's me. Also, Coolio's still a living human, so learning all sorts of stuff in this video. And what's cool about this too is that some of these roles have actually landed me in larger speaking roles in other commercials. I've been able to be paid as a principal actor in some really cool commercials for Doritos, Marvel, and a bunch of car commercials. It's totally fine if you're camera shy too. Honestly, a lot of times when you're an extra in the background, you're not even going to be seen in the end result. I mean, there are some music videos and commercials I've done where I can't even find myself in. I'm playing one right now. Tell me if you see me walking somewhere in the background of this commercial, because I'm there, but there's just no evidence of it. So yeah, these are something you can do even if you're not really in the entertainment industry or if you're camera shy. You can find work like this just by connecting with local talent agencies in your area or just searching on Craigslist a lot of times. The pay range for being a background extra is usually between $150 to $250 per day. For being on set, anywhere between 8 to 10 hours. The pros to this side hustle are it's easy work, you usually get free food and drinks, you make connections within the entertainment industry, and really anybody can do it with no experience. The cons are it often requires an entire day or night being free, with a lot of commercials and TV shows being filmed in the middle of the night. You also have to interact with a lot of crazy entertainment industry people, which if you've never done that, could actually be quite entertaining. I'm gonna list it as a con, but it's also kind of fun, I guess, sometimes. You also have to live in an area where a lot of stuff is being filmed, so you don't have to live in Hollywood. I live in Las Vegas. A lot of stuff does get filmed here. I know Atlanta, New York, Orlando are big areas for this, and there's a lot of others, but if you're in a small town in the middle of Nebraska somewhere, work for this is probably going to be pretty slim. The second side hustle on this list is one that can make you a serious amount of money, and that is selling at swap meets and flea markets. Do not knock this until I tell you how much you can make. Here in Las Vegas, I visited our local swap meet, and I was expecting just to find a bunch of people selling and buying used junk, basically, but what I found were serious entrepreneurs hustling and selling services and products, just making a killing doing it. And you can find anything, and I do mean anything, here. All right, I even found this girl selling dental referral services, and she showed me a commission check for $2,400 she made from just one sale. Most of the other booths were selling everything from jewelry, clothing, knives. There was one selling magic tricks that recently closed down, actually. One guy was selling his artwork, but a lot of these booths were selling items that you can easily source from a site like Alibaba and turn a huge profit margin on. One popular item I kept hearing about from sellers were large gauge earrings like this one that you can find for as low as 20 cents each. And they were selling these for $20 or more. That's a 99% gross profit margin, all right? Bank robbery doesn't have those sorts of profit margins. Now, you do have to consider the costs associated with running a booth at a swap meet. The one I went to charges up to $800 for a 10 by 10 booth in a good location. But even then, with an average of 13 business days they're open each month, that's a daily rental fee of $61.50. That means if you have an item with a $20 profit like we just talked about, you only need to sell 3 of those per day to break even. Every sale after that is pure profit. You can really make a lot of money doing this if you source items that people want or are in need of. And there is a lot of time involved in this, yes, but the reason I listed it as a side hustle is that most of the people doing this, I found, they're only there 2 to 3 days a week. I mean, the place is only open Friday through Sunday for 8 hours per day. So I'd say it's still a side hustle. It's more of a time-intensive side hustle than most of them, but I'm still qualifying this as a side hustle. The pay range for this hustle ranges anywhere from potentially losing money if you don't do this the right way, but all the way up to making potentially a 6-figure income. If you do this right and find the right products and then scale your booth, you can make a huge profit. So the pros are huge income potential, along with helping to establish you within your industry if you're selling things associated with your industry. It can also help you find local clients depending on what you do. I met several makeup artists there that were doing makeup in the booth after selling makeup products to clients that walked by and walked into their booth. The same goes for magicians who sell magic tricks, or artists who sell paintings, or many other people. There's a huge potential to gain clients through doing this. The cons of this are obviously startup costs along with high risk involved. You've got to buy a lot of inventory. You're basically running a legitimate small business at this point if you're starting this up. There are startup costs and there are risks associated with running a business, and yes, it is time intensive. Third side hustle on the list is street performing or busking, and do not look down on street performing because it's a great way to get better at what you do and also potentially make huge money doing it. You don't need to be just an entertainer to street perform. It helps, but there's a lot of other ways you can street perform. Artists can do street caricatures. You could do speed painting. And if you don't know how to do those things, learn. You know, I'm not here to teach you how to be the most pure artist. I'm here to teach you how you can make more money doing what you do. I can tell you when I first got to Las Vegas and I had no income coming in, street performing for tip money was one of the only ways I was able to make money at first. It also made me a much better magician because I was out on the street every single day in a tough environment performing for crowds that didn't know they were going to be watching magic that day. And I had to get them to stop and watch what I do, and I had to do it great, or else they would not stick around and watch a bad magician, believe me. The possibility of making money is always there. All right, look, I'm not a huge fan of this, but in touristy areas like here in Las Vegas, there are people that just dress up in costumes and take pictures with tourists in exchange for tip money. And again, that's not my thing, but it definitely falls into the side hustle of busking and street performing. The 3 important things you will need to learn if you are an entertainer in order to make serious, great money doing this. You'll need to know how to draw a crowd and get them to stay. You'll need to know how to put on a fantastic show that doesn't last too long. And then you'll need to know how to do a great hat line. That's your line that you say at the end of the show to kind of tug on the audience a little bit and get them to drop those tips in the basket at the end of the show. And you need to be great at all 3 of those things in order to make the money that I'm about to tell you can make. The pay range for doing this. When I street performed, I usually made around $45 an hour on average. I wasn't great, I wasn't terrible, I was an average magician starting out on the street, and that's around what I made. But I would say if you're bad at it, you should still be able to make at least like $20 an hour if you do a few kind of shows per hour. However, I have seen magicians make in excess of $200 to $300 per hour consistently, day in and day out, anywhere they go. That's incredible money for standing out on the street, doing something you already know and like to do, and just getting tips for doing it. So the pros for street performing are the potential for incredible money. You can start right away, like you can start right after this video finishes. You could go out and start street performing. And it makes you better at your craft. You just get way better at what you do when you're out on the street doing it for people randomly that, again, didn't know they were going to be watching you that day. The cons of street performing, and there are cons. I'm not going to lie, it's hard. It's really tough work, constantly standing out on the street, trying to get people to stop, reeling them in, performing for people that just walk away. It's draining in hot months and cold months. Oh, it can be brutal out there depending on the weather. The income can be minimal until you get good at street performing. Even if you're good at what you do, those first and last parts I talked about in that 3-step process, you have to be good at all 3. And you also need to live around an area that's at least somewhat like touristy, with an area that people will be willing to stop and watch some form of entertainment on the street and be willing to tip you for it. You really can't go out in your neighborhood and do this. There does have to be some sort of a touristy area where people are coming to experience a day out or a night out. You know what I mean? Before I tell you 4 and 5, I'd appreciate it so much if you go down there and just smash that like button. If you could just demolish that like button for me right now, I'd appreciate that so much. It helps me out. All right, side hustle number 4 is teaching classes or giving private lessons. Look, if there's something you do and you do it better than most other people do it, or it's just something that other people would like to learn, you can make money giving lessons or teaching other people how to do it. It's that simple. There's always someone wanting to learn how to do something better, or especially parents that are willing to pay to have their kids taught how to do something. So whether you're a magician or a photographer or an artist, or you're just good at math, there's always the opportunity there to tutor someone on what you do and make money there, whether you're doing it, like I said, one-on-one, or even in conjunction with another private business or a local library. I know I went to an acting class that met once a week in the back of an old music studio in like a stage area they had back there, and I think the actor that taught that class would probably pay the shop like a weekly rental fee in order to teach his class there. And the pay for this sort of side hustle can definitely vary. I think I paid around $100 a month for that class that met weekly, and there were around, I would say, 25 students in that class. So, you know, run the numbers. You know, I've heard of piano lessons being given one-on-one for like $50 per lesson. I've heard of magic lessons being given one-on-one for a few $100s per month. So I'd say it varies, but I would say that your average for something like this would fall between $100 to $200 per month per student. The pros of this are you get to set your own rate, and it's just fulfilling to teach someone a skill, something new. And the cons are it's kind of one of the lower paying side hustles on the list. Although, I mean, it doesn't pay bad. You know, all these side hustles really do have the potential to pay pretty good money, but this is one of the lower paying ones on the list. And flaky students, honestly, you really never know when someone's just going to no show or decide they, you know, don't want to take lessons anymore, and then your income stream gets cut off. So those are the cons. Let's bring it home with side hustle number 5, and this should come as no surprise to anyone watching this, and that is YouTube AdSense. All right, you don't have to be a YouTuber to create a YouTube channel that generates revenue. Yes, my first YouTube channel, I grew to over 170,000 subscribers, and it got all sorts of attention and made me some money. But even my secondary channel for my marriage proposal planning company is one that generates revenue, and I don't spend that much time on it. Essentially, I just post videos of my marriage proposal performances, and I do it mostly to drive traffic into the website for that business. Even still though, we can look here and see that even though I've only posted 2 videos to it in the last 28 days, so my overall watch time is down, I've still made over $382 so far in the last 28 days. So I would say that's definitely side hustle money, and that's residual income. I'll break it down how it works really simply for those that just might not be familiar with how to generate ad revenue on YouTube. First, your channel has to be approved, and I think the current updated standards for an approved channel are one with 1,000 subscribers, and I believe at least 4,000 minutes of watch time in the last 30 days, I think. Once you're approved, YouTube runs ads on your videos as long as there's nothing in there like R-rated or anything. And they'll do a split with you where you get, I think it's like a 55-45 split again, I think. But ultimately, it usually ends up coming out to you making between $1 all the way up to, if you're really lucky, up to $10 per 1,000 views. All that money goes into a Google AdSense account, which is then deposited right into your bank account once a month, as long as you've made at least $100. So the pay range for this side hustle ranges anywhere from $100 a month, since that's the minimum YouTube AdSense payout amount, all the way up to millions of dollars. I don't think it'll come as a surprise to anyone at this point that there are many YouTubers who are generating millions of dollars in ad revenue. The sky really is the limit. And so the pros are, first, unlimited earning potential. You really can, if you scale your channel and just really decide to make it your main thing, it can potentially make you a millionaire. It's also residual income. You don't have to post videos. As long as people are watching the videos you've previously posted, you're still making money day in, day out without doing any additional work. There are so many other pros to having a YouTube channel. I'm just going to list the main ones I can think of. First of all, it funnels traffic to your website. It can open doors for you within your industry. It can set you up as the expert or an authority within your industry, or it can just make you a star if that's what you're really after. And you can make a YouTube video about anything and there will be someone who will watch it. But the cons of having a YouTube channel, oh boy, it can be a lot of work. If you want to make it a big thing, it can eat up all of your time. Many months can go by without you making any money at all until you get an audience and people actually start watching your videos. If you want to get connected with big YouTubers eventually, you're probably going to have a bad time. Basically, egos and narcissism run rampant within the YouTube community. For most people, I think it's best left to the category of a side hustle, but you do you. Take it as big or as small as you want to take it, all right? Hey, leave me a comment down below and let me know if you're currently doing a side hustle or if this video motivated you to maybe try a new one. And remember, the Moneybeard channel is all about helping you make more money doing whatever you like to do. So subscribe, ring that bell, and I will see you back here real soon.